This time we're going to talk about, we'll begin to talk about some of the common parts that blend with our clients and how to facilitate their unblending. Before we do that, just a reminder of some of the principles of the work. When you're starting the work, notice which parts of you are up, ask them to soften back. It's particularly important if you have a client that the parts of you find intimidating. Let's say you have a client with a PhD and you don't, and you have parts that think that means you're not as smart as them. I had those parts that I had to work with. That's why I'm using this example. Or it can be, a man who presents in a very big, kind of aggressing on the world way. And if any of your parts have ever been hurt by men that present in that way, they may likely be up. Or others, parts that are wondering what you're going to have for lunch, parts that are distracting. Just take a moment to notice them, ask them to settle back so you can hold your curiosity. That's the key to the work, right? Stay curious. There's a human being in front of you that somehow navigated the complexities of life. They have exiles, they have protectors, they have parts that are different from yours. How fascinating is that? If you can hold that, that will really be a fabulous tool in helping the clients to facilitate their own healing. So we come in with that, and of course the common question we ask, the connecting question, is how do you feel towards that part once we've established a target part, or they have. And it's feel towards. Very commonly, new therapists say feel about, and that takes clients into their heads, and then you're just in a cognitive part. So how do you feel towards that part? And that can get very boring for some of your parts. How do you feel towards that one? How do you feel towards that one? How do you feel towards that one? And you want to make sure that your curiosity is genuine. You're not falling into a robotic manager that is saying the words. So you might want to mix that up for yourself. Some of the ways I mix that up are you still feeling open to it? How do you respond when it lets you know that? Are you still feeling open-hearted? Are you still feeling warmly towards it? Or did something else happen? Those are just ways that keep the conversation more engaging, I find, than just constantly repeating, how do you feel towards? Although it's something new therapists tend to do because that's the tool we're given. As long as you're holding a lot of self-energy, a lot of genuine curiosity as you ask those questions, you should be fine. It's also very important that the part is updated. So when you've got the connection, how do you feel towards the part? If you get something like curiosity and compassion, that's great. It's also important that the part knows that the client self is there. So does it know you're there? How does it respond to your compassion? How does it respond to letting it know that you're there? It's important that it's present day oriented. Does this part know that it's 2020 as of this recording? Does it know that you are 45, 62, whatever? The part may. It may not care, but it also may not. The part may, because it's often frozen in time, believe that it's speaking to another part or another person. So a way to ensure that the part knows how old the client is, and that there is an adult here now, and that it's safe, or potentially safe, is ask the part to tell the client how old the client is. That can sometimes be met with surprise by the client, but if you ask, then you'll often get 10 or 12 or 14. So then we want to gently update the part. There's a number of ways to do that. You can do that by showing it today's headline. You can show it the things that have changed since you were 10. Of course, I'm talking about the client. Client can show the part present day life, maybe kids, maybe pets, whatever's going on. And then take time for the part to have a response. It can be a bit of a shock. It's as if, as you're listening to this, someone walked into your environment and said, oh, by the way, you're 80 years old, and we're all 80 years old. So put yourself in the part's position for a moment and just imagine how its world can be rocked. So we want to be gentle with the updating. Once a part's updated, and it knows, this can be very helpful too, that there is only the client's self and you, the therapist, in this encounter. That can often alleviate a lot of concerns if the part has not known that. And then once we're establishing a target part, we want to see which part's presenting. And sometimes a manager will present. Sometimes a manager part will say, oh, we need to work on the drinking, or we need to work on how angry I got at my partner last week, or we need to work on why we keep kowtowing to our boss and we never stand up for ourselves. That may be what needs to happen. But if you notice, what's in front of you is a manager that's finding all of this stuff distressing. It's not the drinking part, it's not the angry part, it's not the self-effacing part that are presenting, it's a manager. So you can work with the manager. That's what's in front of you. How come this part gets so upset about that? How come it wants these other parts to change? How long has this part been going, trying to change all this for itself? Really get to know the manager, because that's who's in front of you. Often clients will bring what they think of as a little gift to the therapist. So I don't know what to talk about today. That can bring some anxiety, particularly if they've got parts that want to please you or parts that are compliant in the therapy. And so look out for those. When a client's manager is presenting you a gift to work on, it may not actually be where the work needs to go. So that's one of the most common presentations, is a manager part wanting to talk about or focus the work on other parts. If you can catch that, the manager becomes your initial target part. That's it for this one.